Hello, I'm Terrydavidmulligan, and welcome to strangely enough, the Terrydavidmulligan YouTube channel. Our guest this week, if we hadn't gotten your attention, is Dominique Fils-Aimé. Beautiful, inside and out. We talked 3 years ago with her third of the trilogy albums that started her career. She started another trilogy, by the way. She won't tell us what the other two are in the trilogy, but the first one is Our Roots Run Deep. It's nominated for a JUNO Award. She is nominated along with the music. And so she's on Mulligan Stew on CKUA Saturday night, and then live at 8:55 Saturday night on the CKUA radio network. Minds will be blown. The podcast will then drop, and it's got actually 4 tracks on it that we've added. Let Me Go, Our Roots Run Deep, Feeling Like a Planet, and To Walk Away. There's 2 videos on this YouTube channel feature that we're doing. It's the interview. She's in Montreal. I'm in Mill Bay, Vancouver Island. The videos are Our Roots Run Deep and My Mind at Ease. It's almost impossible to describe Dominique Fils-Aimé's music to anyone who hasn't heard it. Just know that her career is exploding. It's just, she's Paris. She tonight or last night, she's in Los Angeles showcasing. She's at Block Heater Festival in Calgary. She's going to continue to tour and expand her world and ours. But describing the music is like saying, well, tell me about Billie Holiday. What makes her so special? Really? Here's what you want to do. Have a listen. Have a look. Tell me what you think. tmulligan at ckua.com. Do enjoy this video interview with the one and only Dominique Fils-Aimé. My name is Terrydavidmulligan, and this is Mulligan Stew CKUA Radio. We welcome back almost 3 years to the day, Dominique Fils-Aimé. It took me those 3 years to learn to say her name without. Are you well?
I am so well. How are you?
Very well. I'm going to start with just before we talk music, which we will. There's a couple of things date-wise. You've been busy. You were at the Arden. You're heading for Los Angeles to do a showcase in Los Angeles. It's phenomenal that your world is expanding like that. Tell me about that date.
It's very exciting. We've been able to finally play in New York at the beginning of the month, and doing LA, Paris, expanding in Europe and in the States. It's just amazing team. It's a really huge team effort, a lot of work behind it. But it's amazing to be able to meet new people and to have the music travel, because it used to be the albums traveling, and just that felt magical. But now being able to travel with the music and the musicians is another step of privilege.
I kept thinking as I'm listening, I'm thinking, well, she'd need a bass player and she would need a drummer, because the drums play a beautiful part in this. But she would need at least maybe 2 voices off to the side playing her other parts. So how many people are on stage with you?
Well, we are 4
Yeah.
on stage. There is one in the shadows, my soundman, Simon, who is definitely one of the musicians that people just don't see. But the way he plays with echoes, and he knows the show by heart. So he's definitely playing around with us. And we finally gave the musicians some mics. So they've been doing the back vocals. I also allowed myself to play around with a looper, so I can also back myself in a few specific moments of the show. It's kind of a nice way to show how I actually create music when I'm home, because I do make all the layers on the albums and on my demos. So it was something that was missing and that I wanted to be able to share with the public. So having the musicians and the looper was a nice step up when it comes to making the environment and the textures more vocal.
Couldn't have done that years ago. We just didn't have the technology. Now you have the technology and you're playing with it. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
You also had to teach some of the players
your parts, like
Yes.
you're singing their parts as opposed to this is it. I'll show you on guitar. No, you're doing it by
Yeah.
vocal. Has anybody tried to convince you that maybe you with a guitar would be a beautiful added addition? Could you do that?
I feel like the voice is definitely my instrument and is meant to be
Yes,
my instrument. And the fact that to me, music is beyond just enjoying making music. There is definitely a mission behind it, a feeling that there is a purpose that is further than just enjoyment, and it's to bring a good energy and healing vibes to the people listening. Therefore, I want to focus on excelling at using my voice as a vector for that.
it all starts with the voice. Well, actually, they're all connected. We'll get to that. Congratulations on the JUNO nomination for
Thank you.
Vocal Jazz Album of the Year. You're back again. Our
Mhm.
Roots Run Deep was the name of this album that we're going to talk about. It came out September 22nd, so it's had some growth time already. Um, and it's it's a trilogy.
Yes.
So I can't think of too many artists that have worked in trilogies, but you're comfortable with it. Do you know what the other two are?
I do. I definitely do, but I wish to keep it somewhat a secret. There's a few elements I'm willing to share, but there is definitely a desire this time, contrarily to the first trilogy, where I had everything planned out
Sure.
to the dot from the start. Um, this time, I want to make sure that I leave more room for growth, for my personal growth, and for the public to witness that growth with me. And for me to allow myself to also reevaluate who am I, where am I, what message do I want to share, how do I want to share it. So I know the key words and I know the emotions that I want to convey, the colors. It's the most important. If I know the color in my head of the music, I can more easily navigate through the trilogy. But there is definitely a few surprises that I want to keep for everyone.
Maybe this is a surprise for yourself as well. Because of course
Also,
because you trust your heart, your
I
feet,
do.
your head. You trust yourself, and so some of the lyrics would end up being the dialogue that you're having with yourself, an internal dialogue. It's
Absolutely.
it's fantastic.
And it's fun. And it's really fun to feel that free in my creation and to also feel like I'm at a place where I trust um, my instinct and my creativity enough to let it run its course and know that it's gonna be coherent because as long as it comes from my heart and my soul in an authentic, honest way, it's gonna be making sense because it's all me.
I made some notes from our interview 3 years ago. Um,
Mm.
you start with emotion that gives you melody and rhythm, and then comes feeling and words. And feeling is the key. The heart is the rhythm, and you follow with your heart. I mean,
All the same.
it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful
Thank
thing,
you.
right? Now, for the audience coming to see you at Blockheater, they understand. They've heard you. They're drawn by the music. But once it hits CKUA and is broadcast throughout the province, somebody's going to be driving somewhere. It's a long drive. It's an hour drive or 2 hours drive, and the radio's on, and your voice comes in and carries them down the road to their destination. Minds will be blown. They will not believe
You're
what you're
sweet. I
doing.
hope it connects. I hope people feel the energy all the way through the radio and can leave with a bit of a little warmth in their hearts, for sure.
Nice. By the way, as I said when we first connected, I'm surrounded by rainforest. I just came back from my walk. My shirt's a little soaked.
Oh, so lucky.
I have a muddy dog. Cleaned her up. And I was thinking about you and the music and Roots Run Deep. And first of all, Roots is a form of our own music, our generations. That Roots music I identify with totally, completely. Trees, I'm surrounded by trees. We now know that through technology and through scientific search that they do, in fact, communicate with each other.
They do.
We have roots, humans have roots. The roots in our brain stem cells, in our own body, we have roots. So there's your trilogy in one album.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's a start for sure, because it felt like the most important message that I wanted to share is that obvious link between us and nature, reminding us that we are nature as well. Because it's so easy when I hear someone saying, I'm going in nature, it's like we're excluding ourselves and not realizing that the way a forest works is the way a crowd works, really. And on a personal level and on a group scale as well, there is definitely something that we don't see that connects us all the same way the trees are connected. And for the longest time, we couldn't see it. So we saw them as individual trees, but they're not. They're a unit, and we are a unit that is also connected to them, connected to each other. And that feels like one of the most important things we need to keep in mind in order to remain connected to one another, to provide more empathy, more understanding, and more unity.
There's a lyric in the middle of Our Roots Run Deep. I'm just a tree in the middle of a forest. Actually, it's the first line, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
Well, that tells us exactly where you might be coming from. It's fantastic. But the thing about it is it's not. It's a groove. It's a groove. The message is delivered with a groove. All of them in their own way. Give me a reason to leave you. Give me a reason to dare. So now are we talking human elements here?
We are talking mentality.
Okay.
We're talking about the old version of ourselves, the old system that I believe does not work and apply anymore. We have built the system we're in, and we can choose to transform it into something else if we decide which priorities we want to bring forward. And I do feel like the whole individualistic, capitalist mentality has run its course to a certain extent. You know, I'm not against people making money, and this is the world we live in. I get it. But I do think there is a moral compass that we need to keep in mind that has sometimes been kind of put aside under the excuse, you know, that, oh, this is how it works. This is the world we live in. This is the human nature. I don't buy it. I think human nature is just like any animal. We are a social creature. We're meant to help each other. We work better in teams when we care for each other, that one person's pain is equal to everyone else's pain and is connected to everyone else's pain. So reminding people that we are not in a fight against each other. This is not a dog-eat-dog world. This is a world where we can choose to build and transform the system to make it a more uniting one, and one where we collaborate and enjoy the collaboration and cherish the power that we have when we unite, so that there is more room for everyone to feel better. We don't need one side winning over the other. We could all win, and we can aim for higher.
There's some people out there who won't buy what you're saying, what you're believing, what you're telling us. But there are lots who will. Many, many, many. Like, for example,
this is what I'm hoping.
Yeah. How was Paris? How was Paris, the show in Paris?
It was magical. It was absolutely magical. I feel so lucky every time I get to perform in a new place or a new venue, meeting new people and remembering that music does bring people together in one room to hear the same frequencies. It's definitely, music is magic.
You did say something in that last interview. I grew up with music. And when I fixed up my voice, you use the phrase, when I fixed up my voice. How long did that take you?
Fixed up my voice?
Yeah.
Did I use that sentence? That's interesting.
Yeah, you used that sentence, and I thought it was, you found your voice. You found the timbre,
yes.
the tone. Yeah.
Finding my voice was definitely a process. At first, I used to just enjoy singing songs as I hear a song I like and I would sing it as it was, you know? And as soon as I started playing around with the sounds and with music, trying to make it my own. So at some point, there was a change in the way I approached music where I was no longer repeating a song, I was creating a new one from scratch using what I know best and trying to make it sound good based on what I had and who I am, instead of trying to imitate what someone else did. And that definitely opened a completely new door for me musically, because it was no longer about comparing myself to anyone else. It was about me having fun with myself, period. And I was doing that just for the pleasure of it. I would release
Exactly.
covers on SoundCloud,
But look where it
you
took
know,
you. Look where it took you.
that having fun can take you crazy places. I think it's the main message in all this, for sure.
I'll see if I've got a connection here. Just let me go. There's a line in there. When it hits so hard to walk away, when it's so hard to walk away, and then the next song is to walk away, that leaves the pain behind. Were they one song that became two?
Well, it was basically the whole album I wrote in the order that it's in now.
Yeah.
So I really felt like I was telling a story. So to me, the album is practically one song. There was this thought process behind it of wanting a story from beginning to end right away. So there was no questioning of what is the order. Like, it was set from the start. So that's why from Just Let Me Go, the natural evolution towards the next song had to be To
Okay.
Walk Away, because the topic of why is it so hard, but it's also something we can do, and there is light in it. There is something luminous in, taking our courage and going for it and actually making the move and noticing all the joy it might bring us.
I can hear the conversation, because then there's the voices, the intro vibes bracket, with a line there saying, quiet down. And then followed by quiet down the voices in your head. Are you talking a mental health, uh, that sort of thing?
Mental health is definitely one of the topics that is omnipresent throughout the album. Um, this conversation was really one that I kind of had with myself, and a questioning around how much we can try to control everything that's going on in our mind, and wanting it to ease out, to peace out, to slowly fade. And that's why sorry, it's a parallel in the song where I'm asking the voices to quiet down, and yet they're just building. There's more and more and more of it, because that's kind of what it is sometimes when we try to control our thought process. So I wanted to create a song that would allow someone who was having a hard time doing that dive in it, so that by listening to the song, indirectly you are quiet, making your voices quiet, because the voices of the song are filling your head instead.
Okay.
So it was kind of this parallel that I wanted to create.
Good. This is good. I'm getting schooled here. There's a track called "Feel Like a Plant," which I laughed at when I read. I love that. I didn't know if you were a palm tree or a fern or a cactus, depending on the day, I suppose.
True.
Feel just like a plant, sitting in the sun, growing in the sun, growing. Now you have plants over your shoulder there. How many plants in your actual place?
I have about 80 little baby plants
Okay. All right.
going around, and never enough. But one thing I underestimated when I started getting all these plants is I forgot that they grow, and they grow big. So they're taking way more space than they used to, but I definitely love having them. It's like a little house forest. They taught me a lot. They keep teaching me a lot. I feel like they're the best teachers we can have, and I relate to them so much. I need sun and water. Really, this is sun, water, kindness, same things they need. We are plants. We are organic. There is connections that need to be made a bit deeper, I believe, with these magical creatures. And I feel like, well, starting the album with the roots and having the last one being the plant and it growing towards the sun, I really wanted to cover the tree from the very bottom all the way to the last little leaf that is trying to grab onto the sun, because this is how I feel. I feel like this is the best way for me to share how I wish to connect all my chakras from the bottom all the way to the stratosphere, you know.
I do a wine show here, and and I'm surrounded by vineyards, and I spent 5 years in the Okanagan with BC Wine, and they've lost, in some cases, 50, 60, 70% of their vineyards to deep freeze over the last 2 winters. They're really hanging on by their fingernails. Those plants could use some music.
Oh,
Those plants could use some music. And I happen to know a winemaker, Michael Mosney, who plays classical music to his vineyards. I'm going to suggest to him that he start to play your music to the
oh,
vineyards.
I will go sing to these vineyards myself gladly. I definitely do believe the plants react to music and they enjoy it too. They need it, just like we do.
Well, so yes, so do human beings. So do you have to adjust anything? Two questions. To do your concerts in French, to do the lyrics in French? Does it affect the rhythm? And secondly, how does the music travel? Do you have to adjust to the room?
I do not adjust the music, but for the first time, I've had to adjust. This show specifically, I created little poems that are kind of punctuating the show.
Okay.
And they were written in French, but I translated them in English so that they may connect with the audience, because I do feel like they carry the essence of the messages, or most of the messages I want to bring. And I know the messages are present through music, so I'm not scared that even if they didn't exist, people would still feel. I believe people feel through music, but I wanted to make sure that I underlined them and made them very clear and communicated them through poetry as well.
Sure.
So that's the element I've been switching up.
Just let me go. Why is it so hard to walk away? What effect did the JUNO Awards have on your career?
It helps the team a lot. And to me, it's a nice reminder that I have the best team. I will never say it enough. I believe there is a lot of great music out there. So yes, it's about the music, but it's also about even just the people hearing it so that it may be nominated. And that's all the team's work. That's all the team's doing, really.
But Dominique,
So
there were years when you couldn't get anyone to listen to your music. You kept knocking
absolutely,
on doors.
absolutely.
So what did they hear in your music? Was it Kevin?
Yes, but Kevin was there pretty much at the start, because I started music pretty late in life.
Sure.
So I didn't have to knock on doors that long, to be honest.
Okay.
I started by having fun and then thinking, oh, I think this is something I might want to do. And within 2 years, about 6 months after I decided this is something I want to take seriously, I made my first EP. I literally asked the universe, if this is something I'm meant to do, send me somebody. Just send me the right person, because this is so much work. I cannot do it on my own. And the very night of my actual show for the EP release, Kevin came after the show to say, I've been watching what you're doing. I think I wanted to see you perform first, but I think we might be able to build something together. And the rest is history. So ask and you shall receive. Literally, this is the blessing that I've been given, is to have found that first person who believed that, okay, let's do this and let's make this happen on a professional level. Because otherwise, I was also quite comfortable with the idea of having a job that it was meant for me to pay rent, and then as long as that job allows me to create music and to just create in general and have enough head space, that was already my definition of success. So I already felt successful in the music path. And now this is just all extra, more blessing.
What is it in general the audience is telling you? What feedback are you getting? Is there a common theme? Are they telling you that they're all having the same sort of reaction? And what is it?
I do get a lot of beautiful feedback from the public. One thing I'll hear often is people connecting, really feeling the music that I'm sharing. And that is, I will never get enough of, being reminded that it's not all in my head, that people do connect, people do feel through music. We can make a change and we can bring some good feelings in someone by making sure that this is the intention, because it is the intention, and to see that people feel that intention it's amazing. So it's definitely something that makes me extremely grateful, and that gives me hope as well, because I do want to have an impact that is positive on this world. And sometimes it's easy to wonder, am I delusional thinking that I can do that through music?
No.
But then hearing it feels good.
What previous singers, female, if we can, that you've seen from other generations and other times, do you say to yourself that's where I want to get to right there? Who would that be?
I think all the greats inspire me in their own way, from Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday,
Erykah Badu.
Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu for sure, Lauryn Hill, even Janet Jackson in this Velvet Rope album that is a conceptual album, just like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. They each inspired me on different levels, but I did notice that the one thing that inspires me the most is how they remind me that the goal is not to try to be them. They were the best at being themselves.
Yes.
And this is why me working on being the best at being myself is the goal ultimately, and should be the goal for every artist. Really should be a freedom that we're allowed, and that sometimes is kind of tempered with because of the industry, but it all stems from us, and it should keep stemming from us.
The industry can eat its young. It's just there's something about the music entertainment business that is cold and nasty and soulless.
Absolutely.
That would be too large a journey for you to take, because then it would take away from your music. But if you can affect change, if you can affect change with your music, that would be something.
I agree. It's the goal.
Yeah. And you have to have trust in yourself.
Yes. And I trust myself because I know my heart is full of love. I get so much love. I just want to give some back so it feels fair. And as long as I have the capacity to do it in any form and shape possible, this will remain the goal. And so far, it's been bringing me nothing but beautiful things. So I'm going to keep trusting.
I just love the fact that first of all, you're playing Edmonton, then you're going to Los Angeles, then you're coming back to Calgary for Block Heater, moving about. You're going to be in Victoria. You're going to keep moving along. What does the rest of the year look like? What will the summer, fall bring?
It's been looking pretty wow. A lot of dates, a bit everywhere. There is definitely a tour in Europe again this summer. We have some dates in Italy. Many countries I've never been in. I've been to Germany, but we're going to play in new cities. There's talks about playing in a few places in the States as well this spring and this summer. So it's all in the works right now, but it's looking really exciting and very various.
Have you gone back to Haiti and have you
Haven't
performed
yet.
there? Have you?
Haven't had the chance yet.
Oh, come on.
I know they're working on it as well, definitely. But it's one country at a time. It's a slow build, but it's going. So I trust again that I will end up in all the places that I dream of going.
Thank you for this. This is very kind. And I hope the JUNOs are a blessing. That gig in LA, and especially the one at at the Block Heater in Calgary. They're going to welcome you with open arms. It's going to be a wonderful night.
Thank you. I'm very excited to go. They've been nothing but kind so far.
And just one thing to the audience about to hear you live on CKUA, just one comment to them, one thought, just to let them know what's coming.
Mm. I don't even know how I would, well, know that every frequency you're about to hear is meant for you to feel connected and less alone. So I hope it can do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great year. Take care of yourself
Thank you.
and your plans.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.